As expected, a lot of NFL players got paid yesterday. And the payments kept rolling in overnight. And I'm sure they'll continue to roll in today. But the Eagles didn't pay anybody. The Eagles lost 3 of their top 4 free agents. We're going to break it all down. Plus, Jesus Luzardo gets a bag. Trending in the AM, we're live, taking your thoughts and opinions in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody. Welcome all to Trending in the AM, right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you know the drill. Whether you're watching for the first time or for the 100th time or the millionth time, whether you're watching live or on replay, you know the drill. Hit the buttons on your screen, like, share, subscribe to the STT Sports Network YouTube page, follow on the other platforms. And if you're watching anywhere, make sure you head over to the YouTube page and vote on our poll question of the day. Which player lost in free agency should the Eagles have reached, matched the contract of? Jaelan Phillips, Kobe Dean, Reed Blankenship, or none of the above. So make sure you vote on that. I'd greatly appreciate it. Guys, I'm Phil Stiefel, and we have so much to dive into today, as literally not billions, but more than $1 billion in free agent contracts were given out yesterday in the NFL. 3 big contracts given out to now former Eagles, and we're going to break it all down. Should the Eagles have matched any of these contracts? Are any of these losses going to be too much for the Eagles to overcome? And so much more. What contracts shocked us? What contracts were great that were given out yesterday? We're going to dive into all of it, not just the Eagles, all of those free agent deals and contracts. I mean, I wrote down about 25 of them, and I know I only got like 10% of the deals written down here. I think it was something like 100-some players were giving out deals yesterday. Crazy wild day in the NFL. As always, on the first day of free agency, that's just the way it works. So we're going to dive into all that. We are also going to talk about the Phillies a little bit. Phillies gave out their biggest extension of all time, giving Jesus Luzardo a 5-year, $135 million extension. Huge contract. Well-deserved, but was it too much too soon? It was a 1-year deal. I don't know. I'm curious to see what people think of it. I think it was good. I think there's a little side effect to that deal that I just feel bad for. But let's get right to the first few comments that have come in. Of course, Duck, what's up? Good morning. All of them got the bag, and all of them got a little or a lot over what I consider reasonable for their skill sets. But I'm not a GM, and so my thoughts don't matter in this case. I get that. I agree. My opinions are so wrong on all of it, you know. I was so far off. First off, Jaelan Phillips, 4 years, $120 million to go to the Carolina Panthers. I thought he was going to get like $80, $85 million. He got 80 guaranteed. Massive overpay. Love the guy. He's going to be a loss, but massive overpay. Kobe Dean to the Raiders, 3 years, $36 million. Late night rumors were that he was offered the same exact deal to go to the Cowboys, and he chose the Raiders. So that just makes Kobe Dean even better. And I like him even more now and wish he was here. I think that was 20 guaranteed. I think the guaranteed's not too much. I think the problem with Kobe Dean is 3 years is a big commitment to him with his injury history. Reed Blankenship, 3 years, $24 million. I actually was pretty spot on that projection. I thought he was going to get 8 per year. I thought he was going to get a 3-year deal. I think it was 16 and a half guaranteed for Reed Blankenship. I think the Eagles could have matched that. I don't think they had to match that, but I think they could have matched that deal. I'm just glad I'm not Howie Roseman and have to make these decisions. I'm glad I'm not a GM like you, because some of these deals that were given out yesterday, it's insanity. Good morning, Robert. Elephant in the room right from second one. Billy in the house this morning. What is happening? Should have kept Blankenship. I think, I don't know if I would say should have, Robert. Could have at that price. You know, Eagles fans are all over freaking out. And I'm not saying you. I'm just saying overall. freaking out because we did not sign or match that Blankenship deal. And Blankenship went to the Houston Texans, if you didn't know that, people. But literally like 2 minutes ago, not 2 minutes ago, like 2 days ago, and for the last 2 years, people have said Reed Blankenship is very mid, very below average, blah. People didn't like Reed Blankenship. Now that we didn't pay him, they're upset he's gone. And I know the safety room is probably one of the biggest question marks going forward. But man, the change from Eagles Nation because we didn't retain him, it's kind of shocking. I chose none of them on the poll because I think all those guys are replaceable at a lower salary. Yeah, I think so too. Nakobe Dean's already been replaced, and I know I don't want to go deep down the Jahad Campbell rabbit hole, but you drafted his replacement in Jahad Campbell already. Reed Blankenship, he's a great leader. I don't think you can replace his leadership. He's a captain, but you can replace his production on the field easily. And Jaelan Phillips, I mean, you could go get Bradley Chubb and countless other guys much cheaper than Jaelan Phillips. And if it doesn't work out, you go make another trade. You're going to get a third-round comp pick for Jaelan Phillips. So I think that's okay. NFL is $8 billion valuation. Cowboys alone is valued at $12 billion, and the Eagles are around 10. So $1 billion in a contract with, yeah, exactly. It is crazy when you really contemplate the money that comes and goes in the NFL, the business of the NFL. It's crazy. Billy says, Phil, I feel Zach Bond is awesome, but do you feel Dean still needs to prove durability and consistency? Do you feel our linebackers are good enough now? Well, Nakobe Dean is gone. He's going to the Raiders. So, yeah, you got to hope Zach Bond at 30 years old is okay. You got to hope Jahad Campbell can take that next step. There are people that doubt Jahad Campbell can start at the NFL level consistently. The problem is Nakobe Dean, while he is consistently a very good player, Nakobe Dean can't stay healthy. So I'd rather take my shot with Jahad Campbell than gives Nakobe Dean $36 million. I would. I do. You got Jeremiah Trotter Jr., you got Smile Mondon, you got other guys at depth there. I trust Howie Roseman. Is basically to sum it all up, Billy. I trust Howie. Okay, I told you. Oh, what? What'd you tell us? AJ out soon. I don't know. I think the options for an AJ trade are drying up fast. Alec Pierce staying in Indy for $116 million. Pittman traded to the Steelers. Jahan Dotson out to the Atlanta. So many wide receivers signed such enormous contracts yesterday. It's crazy. You bum, no Stiefel in the afternoon show. Yeah, I was busy. I recorded like 3 shorts, a short video. I was busy yesterday, man. Panthers got Phillips' son. That's what I said. Yeah, I said that. The Eagles shit the bed yesterday, 100%. Why did they shit the bed, Vasak? I'm curious. What deal was so important to the Eagles' success that they had a match out of anyone signed yesterday in the NFL? What did the Eagles do so bad yesterday that they shit the bed? I feel it is good we have Luzardo all that money as someone else would do it, and then we would lose him. Look, he was a free agent at the end of the year. You took a big risk of losing him or having to pay him more if he had another great year. You also take the chance that last year was a one kind of hit wonder kind of thing. That was his best year of his career. He's 28 already, so maybe he's a late bloomer, maybe. But our core pitching staff is locked up for a long time, and even with Zach Wheeler retiring a year or two. So I'm okay with the Luzardo deal. I love success stories like him. I love his energy, his passion. I'm a big Luzardo guy. My biggest concern with the Luzardo deal is that I feel bad for Christopher Sanchez. The dude's making like $8 million this year, and he's the ace of the team. Still, pound for pound, the best deal in all of baseball, maybe in all of sports, on athletes not on rookie contracts is Christopher Sanchez. Good morning to you. Even though I hated your first comment, good morning to you. All players are replaceable. What kind of nonsense statement is that? All production is not replaceable at cheap money. Yes, and I think that's a fair way to put it. I think the bigger loss yesterday wasn't the production, Keith. You lost 2 leaders on the defense yesterday, Indeed and Blankenship. The leadership, the captain. I know Dean wasn't a captain. If he wasn't hurt, he would have been a captain. I think the question should be who's going to replace the production on the field. Who's going to replace their leadership in the locker room? Love Dean, but the way people are acting is a little nuts. I agree. Keith will disagree with you, Big Al, but I agree with you on that. Good morning, Little G. Good morning, Mr. Robert. None left in Philly. I mean, we just still got like a dozen all-pro players in Philly. The Eagles got worse yesterday. Howie's work to do. And Howie will do the work, Keith. The Eagles did get a little bit worse yesterday on paper. I'm not going to disagree with you at all on that statement. Not one bit. Right? I will not. Okay? But what I will say is, to anybody freaking out, patience, okay? Relax. Howie does some of his best work later on in the offseason, right? Howie Roseman isn't going to stand pat, okay? Howie Roseman is not going to just let things slide. Howie Roseman's got work to do, yes. But I have faith in his track record that he's going to do the work. And either he's going to make some big, bold move that we don't see coming, or he's got 3, 4, 5 guys in the next wave later this week, next week, 2 weeks from now, that are going to be fine and fill in the roles just fine. So I'm not going to say that, what did Vasak say earlier? The Eagles shit the bed yesterday, because I'm not overreacting to the first day of free agency. Nobody wins the Super Bowl on March 9th, right? Nobody, the team that wins free agency, the Raiders or the Titans, spending buku bucks. Some of the moves I actually like that they made. Winning free agency does not equal winning the Super Bowl. Panthers pushing hard on defense after tasting the playoffs this year. Look, I love that. I respect that. I think that's awesome. I think what the Raiders, the Panthers, I even like what the Chiefs did yesterday. I think what they're doing is great. Probably exciting to their fan base. Well, I mean, they're going to be any better. 17 watch. Guys, please hit that like button if you have not yet. Subscribe if you're not. Share this out. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. It would help us out greatly here. Is all honest, Blank stinks. I say it. Yeah, look, Blank is okay at best as a player on the field, but he was a captain, okay? He was a leader of this locker room. Great success story. Signed as an undrafted free agent for $50K guaranteed. Got paid. Good for him. Best of luck in Houston. Houston's a great defense, so he's going to fit right in there. It's day 2. Exactly, Nina. Please, preach. Preach for me, Nina. It's day 2. It's not even day 2. Technically, day 1's not till tomorrow afternoon, right? Technically, right? So people need to relax. Plus, how many times have we seen, just in Philly alone, Frank Gore situations in the NFL? This stuff could change like that. Relax. Jesus' payment isn't bad for a really good lefty. Absolutely agree. I think it's great. I just feel bad that Sanchez is on like a 4-year, $60 million deal or whatever it is. And he's better than Luzardo. That's the only downside to it, and it's just more comical than anything else. I think that, for as bad as Dave Dombrowski has been over the last couple years, that was a very smart, solid, strong move by him, and well-earned move. Dean was an underachiever. Raiders, where players go to career die. I think Dean, if he can stay healthy, will help the Raiders. The Raiders are trying to change the culture and organization there in Vegas, and I think Dean is a great locker room presence to bring into Vegas with a team that Dean on defense, Linderbaum on offense, both probably overpaid, but both great short-term moves to help change the culture with the Las Vegas Raiders. Tyler Linderbaum, the Ravens center, went to the Raiders for 3 years, $81 million, 60 guaranteed, the highest paid center of all time. 6 highest paid offensive linemen, period. Resets the market for centers. But you're going to draft the quarterback number 1 overall. You go get an anchor on the offensive line to mentor your young quarterback. Now your defense is flipping. You go get a guy in the middle that can anchor that defense. I love it. Worried about the safety and tight end positions. Berg got problems on both those. Let's talk safety first, then tight end here, Billy. Safety, you still got Drew Makuba, who was a second-round pick last year, who they expect. I'm not saying he will, but they expect to take another step forward this year, right? Yes, they will sign somebody, whether it's Brisker or somebody. They'll draft somebody. They will rebuild that. It's not going to be Drew Makuba and Sidney Brown. Do not worry. Maybe they bring back Marcus Epps. Howie's got a plan. Tight end, I'm curious. All the rumors, all the moves yesterday, I didn't hear a peep tweeted out, other than from me, about Dallas Goedert. So maybe there isn't, just like last year, a market for Dallas Goedert. Maybe today they figure it out and they bring Dallas Goedert back, then they draft somebody. I trust Howie Roseman's got a plan. I trust it's not like we're just punting on a season. We got a lot of talented players. Howie Roseman yesterday was a product of Howie Roseman's drafting success over the last 3-4 years. You draft so well that popular players have to leave. It happens. Panthers paid more than twice his value. No, I think $80 million with like $60 guaranteed was a fair market value. You see what, I can't say their names. Boy, Mafe got paid $60. Odafe Owe got paid $100 million. Edge rushers are a premier paid position. It's a position that the NFL organizations have long valued higher than other positions. So I don't think he got paid twice his value. But he got paid a decent amount, maybe 25, 30% more than he probably should have. Let's go. We will bounce back, and Howie would trust. Exactly. Anybody panicking, anybody worried? I'm not worried. I won't be worried till July, whatever, when training camp rolls around. And then if we still have these holes, then I'll start to slightly worry. And even then, I mean, we got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson the first time, middle of August. So Howie's Hannibal Smith of the A-team. He's got a plan. And he sees 10 steps into the future, right? Everybody thinks Howie's the greatest GM in the world until he doesn't make a move on day one of free agency. It's like, seriously. Patience. 5-star players, I'll leave it at that. 5-star players, what's that? Day 2, Howie is scary. Day 2, Howie is scary, Marshall. On day 3, Howie is scary. Week 4, Howie is scary. Month 6, Howie is scary. Over the last, 5 years, Saquon and Bryce Huff were really the only 2 big free agent swings he made in free agency. One worked out really well. One worked out really badly. Raiders handing out massive contracts over course correcting and coming. Yeah, absolutely. And all of it doesn't matter if Mendoza can't perform in the NFL, right? They're trying to prepare that team for the number 1 quarterback in the NFL, or number 1 pick in the NFL, which is going to be their quarterback. Luzardo has had good years previous. I think he matured a lot this season. Yeah, he had good years. He didn't have great years. He didn't. I remember one year with the Marlins, he dominated us against us every time he faced us, but he had still had a 4-something ERA. If Luzardo had another good year, he's getting 30. Absolutely. I'm not against it at all. I'm just putting the counterpoint out there just in case. Guys, make sure you're hitting the like button, the subscribe, share button, and vote on the poll question of the day. As expected right now, none of them, 36%, is leading the poll. All the other names, Phillips, Dean, Blankenship, all tied at 21% so far on the poll. Howie Roseman will make it happen when he has to. In Howie, we trust. I think 3 Super Bowl appearances, 2 Super Bowl victories over the last 9 years or so has earned him the right to be trusted, to relax, to be patient, okay? Don't judge me. I like watching my Bills or Panthers guy go to Philly or vice versa to see what they do. Yeah, we'll see what they do. Devin Lloyd got a 3-year contract. He's good. I mean, he's a really good linebacker, better than Dean. He was only a first-round pick not too long ago. I don't know if he lived up to the first-round pick moniker, but he's a really good linebacker. Raiders and Giants had a fantastic day yesterday. I don't know if the Giants had a fantastic day yesterday. They had a good day yesterday. I think the Raiders, even the Chiefs might have had a better day yesterday as well. I think the biggest issue there. I think getting Lively as a tight end is a good move for the Giants. That was the only move that really jumped out. The biggest move from the Giants yesterday was the fact that they did something smart. They didn't match the $70-some million that the Titans gave Wan'Dale Robinson. Talk about overpaying for a player. Wendell Robinson getting 4 years, 70 with incentives up to almost 80. God damn. He was like the 67th rated wide receiver in football last year. Talk about an overpay. The Raiders the Giants made a smart move by not doing that. Anybody still doubting Howie, but trust Darryl because he got a first and a third, 3 seconds for the game. Yeah, exactly, Marshawn. What's Daryl Morey ever won? Dude, I didn't even turn on the Sixers game for 1 second. Not 1 second, because I knew the outcome before it started, right? Actually surprised when I saw the box score. As close as it was. Marshawn. Howie is the best GM in football. He is. Outside of the Chiefs, what other team has gone to the Super Bowl 3 times in the last 9 years? I'll wait for the answer. Anybody that doubts Howie's work, you could be sad. You could be frustrated that somebody didn't get signed if he was your favorite player. But I'm not going to be sad or disappointed on day one at all. No way, shape, or form. Because forever in Howie, I trust. Raiders smoked the Ravens, getting 2 firsts. Yeah, not only did they get Linderbaum and Dean, they got 2 firsts for Max Crosby. They got 2 first-round picks this year, right? So they could draft their quarterback of the future, and they could draft their Max Crosby replacement. Smart month for the Raiders so far. Sanchez asked the Phillies for an extension. It's kind of on him. Yeah, he kind of didn't want to bet on himself, basically. That's fine. It's fine. He'll get paid next time. Did I see the Howard Erskine's Burger King tweet saying for months there was no way Kelsey wasn't coming back to play? Travis now craves the attention. The man has breast cancer. Howard Erskine is the biggest dope in sports. Plain and simple. 100% the biggest dope, okay? I do not agree, whatever. Yeah, Travis Kelsey is coming back 1 more year, $12 million. He doesn't want to go out the way he went out. The only thing is, does that mean that Mahomes will be back sooner than I expect? Maybe that's that. I don't know. The Chiefs getting Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, big deal for them. What was the other big deal? But there's one other big Chiefs deal that I like. I got way too many notes written down. I got 2.5 pages of free agent notes here. I thought they made one other deal yesterday that I really like the Chiefs. When Phil tells me a mid-ass player is a good leader, who cares? Leadership's important in sports, especially in football. The difference between you and me, you trust Howie. I saw what happened last year, and I don't. What happened last year? What moves did he make last year that were so bad? We had an injury. You got to understand something. Last year wasn't about a bad free agency or a bad draft. Last year was simply the offensive line was hurt across all 4 of the 5 positions. You have a healthy offensive line, last year's different, 100%. Howie's draft wasn't perfect, but it wasn't bad. Howie's draft last year just didn't have an immediate day one impact like the 3 previous years. Very rarely do you have as much impact on year 1 as the Eagles have had over the last couple of years. You might think of last year differently if Jahad Campbell becomes the player I think he could be, or Drew Makuba becomes Chauncey Gardner-Johnson or whatever comp he had. Still made the playoffs, still won the division. It is near impossible to win back-to-back Super Bowls, okay? I have faith. 1 year of not winning the Super Bowl doesn't make me lose faith in a GM or a coach or a player. My poll answers read Blankenship and most missed player of the ones lost so far. Reed is a very good place in Houston, nevertheless. I think all 3 players went to great places. Honestly, Phillips, a place with no pressure. Dean can be the leader of Raiders and help turn that team around. And Reed, a great defense and a great organization. Phillips got paid for being top on the market. I don't know if he was top. I think Trey was the top, but near the top, yes. If Phillips got 120, what's Trey Hendrickson going to get? But he had his best half of a year on the Eagles defense. That's not enough to spend that kind of money. I agree with that. I saw someone yesterday say that Lurie isn't spending as much on players. He's going to have to put a ton of money up for the new stadium. Has nothing to do with it. Has nothing to do with it, Anthony. I think that's just speculation at best. Not worried about no new stadium at all when it comes to the Eagles and spending in free agency. They didn't spend money because they've got Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, they've got Jalen Carter, they got A.J. Brown, they got a lot of things to deal with, right? And they only have $24 million in cap space. They got like 12 holes to fill, 4 or 5 starting holes to fill. They only got $24 million. There's only so much they could do. CJGG coming back, it would keep the rhythm. It would. Every other year we get them. Every other year we win a Super Bowl, right? Or we get to a Super Bowl. So bring back Chauncey, right? Why not? Luzardo was with Miami. How good can you be? That is fine. That is fair as well. Absolutely agree with you on that. How he dropped the ball last year, real talk. I don't think that's accurate at all. I don't. 20 watch guys, keep hitting those buttons. Like, share, subscribe. Phillies seem to do what that with starters these days. Yeah. Like, I have no problem with it. Day one is not usually. Day one is always overreaction signings. 100%, no doubt about it, okay? In my opinion, you get one load to shoot. Now, Panthers spend it on a guy who's ranked 18 of 32. Blue sacks. Is that better than Eagles? Look, I get it. The sack numbers weren't there. I know you care about sack numbers. I care about pressure rates and just overall effect on the defense. But, yes, we agree it was an overpay. We don't agree on the sack numbers. Understand about Howie's past performance, but I contend he's now past his prime. Stop. Time to move on. Are you serious, Billy? Are you trolling me right now? Or do you really think it's time to move on from Howie Roseman? This can't be a real comment. Who's the Raiders quarterback? It's going to be Mendoza, the kid from Indiana, who's going to get drafted number 1 overall. Devin Lloyd had one good year. He's not better than Dean. Yeah, I don't know if I've watched enough tape on him to know whether he's good, bad, better, great, whatever. He got more money than Dean. Probably because I think Nakobe Dean, if he didn't have health issues, injury issues, would have gotten paid more. Howard Eskin is the biggest joke, honestly. There are only 4 good game-changing edge living. Yeah. So you got to get the next best thing. The Eagles won their division last year. That's pretending that it was yeah, exactly. Exactly, Anthony. Like, seriously, you can't win a Super Bowl. Well, you can, but it's very difficult to win a Super Bowl every single year, right? Seriously. Yeah, I don't know. We were old going into last year. Therefore, we actually had, like, the youngest defense in the NFL last year, so we weren't that old. Actually, I think it literally was the youngest defense in the NFL. And offensively speaking, it was pretty damn young, too. We were not old at all. We had so few players over 30 years old on our roster last year, just so you know. Maybe Jake Elliott, Lane Johnson, Zach Bond turned 30. I don't know if during the year or after the year. Saquon Barkley, I don't even think he's 30 yet. Dallas Goedert's 30. I know that. That's it. We're not that old. We're actually a young team. The draft stunk. The draft is incomplete. You never grade any draft in any sport till at least 3 years. Baseball, even longer than 3 years. Okay? You can say the draft didn't have an immediate impact on last year's team. Yes, I agree with you on that. But how many teams have that kind of success like the Eagles did the previous few years? Very rarely. Philly has a ton of ignorant, snobby sports radio personalities. Not absolutely agree with you on that. Now, there is a little shift I'm seeing, especially on 97.5. But, yes, I agree with you on that. I trust Howie and Jeffrey's decision to move on from a coach, coordinator, player, even after all their success they have achieved. Look at Doug. He wasn't successful anymore. Stout lost his voice. I agree, Marshawn. I trust them all. How good will Phillips be with no Davis or Carter on the line? I think it's a great point. I think it's fair. Without Q and Coop locking down wide receivers to give you more time to get after the quarterback. Not just sacks, all in account. He is 18 of 32. Very rare, but not Garrett. I get it. He's not Myles Garrett. There is no such thing as another Myles Garrett. 31 teams would fire their GMs and hire Howie if he was available. 31 teams would fire their GM if there was even a rumor that Howie was going to become available, right? But anybody, Anthony, it's not even worth arguing that one. Sorry, Billy, I love you, but terrible. Raiders will always stink. Maybe. They had a pretty smart day yesterday. I ain't going to lie. Just one man opinion, should have drafted next Davis. I don't know. Spike Howard, same thing. Yeah, same thing. The Eagles will not give up on Howie Roseman. Why would they? Howie would have a job at twice the money before the ink on the pink slip. Absolutely agree. He would have 10 offer letters in his mailbox before that ink is dry, with ownership stakes on the line. It would be insane. He would be the highest paid GM in the history of football, in the history of sports. Guys, 30 minutes into the show, we're at 37% said none of the above should have been retained or should have been matched contract-wise. Reed Blankenship, 21%. Nakobe Dean, 26%. Phillips 16%. We got 25 people watching. Hit that like button, share, subscribe. You know, Bucks fan, great to see you in the chat this morning. We got caught up pretty fast on the chat this morning. But I feel bad for you. Losing Mike Evans to San Francisco, one of my favorite non-Eagles football players, now becomes, I can't stand him, going to San Francisco. I can't root for Mike Evans anymore. Mike Evans got 3 years, $60 million. Once he gets near that electrical grid, that hamstring is going to explode. So, yeah. I mean, it's good. I mean, Brandon Ayuk's available. I wouldn't want him, but yeah. But that's my Bucks news. They did retain Kate Otten yesterday. Another tight end. Whole bunch of tight ends signed yesterday. Whole bunch of tight end news yesterday. And not an inkling about Dallas Goedert yesterday. I'm sure Tampa's sad. I know Chris Godwin is very sad to lose his buddy. It's a loss for the Bucks. Prediction today: Howie signs Chubb or trades for Grenard. Brisker is what we hope for, but I see Howie sign a safety in day 3 or 4. I think we want Chubb. I think we want Grenard. I'm not sure if they're the guys. Based off the money given out yesterday, Marshawn, aren't you worried that Chubb becomes a little too expensive? Because Chubb is older and a step down from Jaelan Phillips. Probably Chubb is worth what? $12 million a year, maybe? There's a chance somebody gives him $15, $18 million a year. There really is. And Grenard, you got to trade for him, then you got to extend him. I saw someone suggest you trade for him and you give him like a 3-year, $75 million extension. That might be too much for Grenard. Brisker, I would love him, but I think people are panicking, falling in love with Brisker. I loved him in the draft, like whatever it was, 3, 4, 5 years ago. I wanted the Eagles to attack him in day 2 or 3 of that draft. But I think the Eagles will wait on safety. It's not that Howie doesn't value safety. Howie just doesn't overspend at safety very often. And why would you when you got so much money tied up in cornerback? There is another safety thing, and it's a big reach. And I'm not saying it's the answer at safety. But the Eagles did not release Michael Carter yesterday. They renegotiated his deal. And I know he was a slot corner. But there was a lot of talk last year when we traded for him. We traded John Mechie for him last year. There was a lot of talk about it and a lot of reports from practice that he was working most of the time as a safety in practice and that they viewed him as a safety as well as a slot guy. So that might be one of their big picture hopeful plans, that maybe he's their third safety. So now you still need a second, but maybe they like Michael Carter as a safety. Eagles organizations would have to be really stupid exactly. You said he did a horrible job yesterday, but you also know you can't get rid of him. Crazy that Kobe got similar offers from the Cowboys and Raiders and chose the Raiders. I don't get it at all. I get it. That's his love of Philly and not wanting to be hated in Philly. He doesn't want to deal with the drama. Like, to go to Dallas as a free agent, you got to get overpaid. That just makes the Nakobe Dean Philly lore even bigger, that he chose the Raiders over the Cowboys, right? I actually think the Cowboys had a great day yesterday. I don't even have any of their moves written down. But the only reason why I think the Cowboys had a great day yesterday is because I saw a tweet from Skip Bayless saying that the Cowboys had a terrible day. So that just tells me that the Cowboys had a great day yesterday, because whatever Skip Bayless says, obviously the opposite is true. Why Bucks chose Bowles over Evans? Is that a thing? Is it a choice, Todd Bowles over Evans? I'm not sure about that. Good morning, Adam. Yesterday with trades and releases, crazy day. Mike Evans went and got his bag. You can't complain about a man making the money. He's late in his career. Wants to try something different. I'm all cool with that. It's good. I have no problem with Mike Evans leaving Tampa. What I have a problem with is him going to San Francisco, and now I can't root for him anymore. Guys, come on. We got a lot of people watching. Hit those buttons. We're pushing 30 right now. Hit the like, share, subscribe button wherever they are on your screen, guys. Please, I'd greatly appreciate it. And drop your comments. There's only about a dozen people commenting, but there's 28 people watching. Drop your comments in the comment section if you're watching and can type right now. I want to answer them all. Why San Francisco stinko? I don't know what San Francisco does. Bucks, just like Eagles, don't want play coach. What? Don't want play coach? The allure of playing for Fangio is way too enticing for Chubb to turn down. That's very possible. Had his most success with Fangio. Wasn't Chubb also in Denver with Fangio? Or was that a different edge guy? There's some free agent available that played in Miami and in Denver under Vic Fangio. Luzardo looks like a South Philly Italian from Juniper, and Rittner had a fling with Benazel truck. I can't even read the comment because it's so true. Jesus Luzardo could have a career like Steven Seagal in acting, where you could play an Italian one movie, an Indian in another movie. Like I'm trying to think. There's like 9 different ethnicities that Steven Seagal has played in movies. The same character, the same movie, just with different ethnicity. That's what Jesus Luzardo is. It's funny. Did Denzel Ward sign? I thought he got released. I did not hear any news about him yesterday whatsoever, Marshawn. Yeah, they got dude. There was 1 or 2 punters that got big paydays yesterday. Kickers got big paydays yesterday. Evan's still mad. 3-28. I don't understand that. Explain that to me as a non-Bucks fan. Can we get 4 first-round picks for Howie? I think we can ask for more than that for Howie. I'm sure they are working on Manny. I'm sure they're working on that. And if not, I'm sure they have a plan. Glad Dean and Blank didn't sign in Dallas. I am glad. I expected one or both to go to Dallas. Neither did. Christian Parker's got to be sitting there like, yo, I thought we were boys. I thought you were coming to Dallas with me. My source has been wrong twice now. My source said, A, Dean was 100% a lock to Dallas, and my source says 100% Blank was signing an extension here. So, to my source, a big bird under the table to you. Another organization would pick him up and also make him a partner. Like, seriously, they would. He would get ownership stake in it. If you thought yesterday was bad, you obviously have not seen Ridley Scott's Napoleon. Thank you. I appreciate it. What's up, Brianna? How you doing? I think Howie will trade for a cornerback, too. Look, there's going to be no big-name cornerback, too, Marshawn. I think people are nuts to think that there is. Cornerback 2 is going to be Adoree Jackson or another Adoree Jackson-type signing like last year. No doubt in my mind. Why? Because you cannot have 3 high-paid cornerbacks. Okay, unless there's somebody out there that wants to sign a 1-year deal to play here, like a big-name cornerback, you're not getting it. Cornerback 2 is always going to be a 1-year deal rental, okay? It just is. They can't afford another big-name cornerback. What do you believe the likelihood of Epps coming back? After losing Reed, I think there's a decent chance he comes back. He played solid, not great, not bad. He played okay filling in. Now, I don't know enough because Epps played next to Blankenship. If you bring Epps back, he has to play next to Makuba. Epps played okay next to Blankenship. Can Epps play okay next to Makuba, or do their styles clash? I don't know enough to answer that question, but I think there's a strong chance he comes back if he fits next to Makuba. You might see a day 3, day 4 free agent signing, Epps, and a 4th or 5th round draft pick. That's your safety room. Who they are, I don't know. Evans was expected to be 4 times that. In reality, the contract could get out at 1 year 14. Gotcha. Players don't want to play for coach. That's why leaving. Okay. Well, Kate Otten stayed. But yeah. Okay. So people don't. So Bowles is wearing out his welcome in that locker room. Gotcha. So Phil, what are you thinking? Giants, Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Redskins. Stop. The Eagles are still. There's no way the Giants or Cowboys or Commanders are winning the division next year. It's just not. The Eagles are still the best team in the division, hands down, bar none, 0 doubt about it, okay? 0. And you can't even answer this question because it's literally 1 day of free agency. The Giants might be better than I think after day 14. The Cowboys might be better than I think after day 16. Seriously. VCP making an appearance. Glad Phillies re-signed Luzardo, but would have preferred Sanchez. Well, Sanchez is locked up for at least this year and 2 more years. Luzardo, as I've been saying, is still pound for pound the best value in all of sports, not on a rookie contract. But yeah, Luzardo got paid. It's great. It is what it is. The draft was not bad just because of the talent chosen. Example, defensive rookie of the year was a linebacker chosen after the linebacker we chose. who had better college film. Howie should have drafted a tight end, tackle, edge. That we can discuss. That last year's tight end class was much different than this year's tight end class. And last year was the year to go get a tight end. Absolutely. And I've said this countless times, Keith, and maybe you haven't listened those days. Howie wanted better offensive tackles last year. He misread the room. He thought certain guys were going to fall in rounds 1, 2, and 3. Connolly, Rutlish, Mbao. There's 2 other names that in rounds 1 through 3, I think Howie wanted, legitly. He met with them. He thought they'd fall. They didn't. He misread the room. Edge, for some reason, I think he thought he was good at edge. He always prioritizes edge. He didn't last year, and I'm not sure why. But I can agree on the tight end offensive line part there, for sure. We gave up 3 and 28-yard try-win game. Losing players and coaches is the cost of drafting well and winning big. Exactly, Rick. Exactly. Howie Roseman's, I don't want to say failures. It's not failures. Howie Roseman's losses yesterday were a direct result of his excessive success over the last couple of years. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you draft for need, Anthony. If you got a perfect team and you just have one hole to fill, yeah, you draft for need. But yeah, normally you draft the best players. Your source is a blank. Geez, swings him in. I know. And the source has good reasons to be a source, and he chats in the comments occasionally on this show. Your source might get fired. My source is burned. Mac possible. Yeah, look, they were high on Mac McWilliams. What was he, a 4th or 5th round pick last year? Maybe it's him. He only played like 25 snaps all year. They're going to piece together quarterback. They will not go in thinking it's Keely Ringo, but they're going to piece together. Do not be shocked if it's Dory Jackson. Dory Jackson, through his 10 games he played when he was not hurt, played better than people realize. It's going to be a Dory Jackson, Mac McWilliams, a 5th or 6th round draft pick, or somebody else like a Dory Jackson. Howie is going to stick to the cornerback room he needs to look at a solid safety. We still need O-line and defensive end. Consider linebacker will probably get one more player by draft. Got 4 linebackers still. Looks like Kyler Murray going to Vikings tomorrow. Big mistake. Quarterback news from yesterday. There was Minshew changed teams. Pickett changed teams. But Malik Willis, there were reports Malik Willis was going to get $30, $35 million a year. He signed a 3-year, $67.5 million to go to Miami to replace Tua. And they build it so they can get out of it in 2 years. They're paying so much money for quarterbacks next year, the Miami Dolphins. And Atlanta got Tua. So now they got Tua and Penix, 2 injury-prone lefty quarterbacks. Man. Bring up Atlanta. I got to write something down here. Atlanta. I got an Atlanta topic to discuss later in the show. Vikings giving up on JJ after 1 year is insane. I mean, giving up on Sam Darnold after 1 year, Anthony, was the insane move. And now they're giving up on JJ after 1 year. It's a quarterback-driven league. Teams move on from young quarterbacks way too quickly and don't give them a chance to develop. That's the problem. That's one of the biggest problems in the NFL. Do you believe if AJ does get traded, it would have to be before the draft? I don't. I know a lot of people are saying that the Eagles want to settle this situation now. That's not true. I think other teams want to settle this situation now. The only way AJ gets traded before the draft, if it's such a massive overvalue trade, like Howie wants a first and a second, or a first and a third that could become a second. If some team calls Howie and says, I'll give you 2 firsts and a player, and Howie's like, I got no choice. But Howie, if he's going to trade him, is going to try his best to wait till post June 1st, where you split that cap hit up. I think that's ideal for what Howie is. Plus, next year's draft is viewed much deeper than this year's draft. So what are extra picks this year really worth compared to next year, right? The rumors that they want this deal done before Wednesday, I think, are geared and coming from sources on the other teams, like the Patriots, the Chargers. I think the Jaguars are a sneaky team in play if Howie Roseman does move on from A.J. Brown. They're trying to shop Brian Thomas right now. Would you trade A.J. Brown to the Jags for a first, a 4th, and Brian Thomas? Interesting. Anyway, I think that's where the rumors are coming from. Tight end room is a mess. There is no room. The room is empty. It's like The tight end room is like if Howie walked into the room like the gif of Will Smith walking into the house at the end of Fresh Prince and looks around and it's empty. That's the tight end room right now. There ain't nobody there. We need to get comfortable with the idea that either Cooper Q won't be extended. The corner market is gone. Dude. Well, we'll get to the Cooper Q part in a second. The corner market, boom, has exploded over the last year or two. Like, massively exploded, Keith. We agree on that. I do not think there's any way Cooper Q leaves. I think there's a better chance that Jalen Carter is out of Philadelphia. Not saying I want that. I'm saying I think there's a better chance of that than Cooper Q going. That's just my gut feeling. Not my want, not my hope. My hope is they keep all three. My wish is they keep all three. But my gut tells me that Carter would be the guy that goes, not Cooper Q. Oh, you said Suarez, not Sanchez. Oh, sorry, my bad. I thought you were talking about Sanchez. Yes. I'm glad, I think the deal they got for Luzardo is a great, great move. I wish Sanchez or Suarez was still here, but Ranger Suarez got paid a lot more than Luzardo. I'm fine. I'm fine with the deal. I'm fine moving on from Sanchez. I think, Suarez, I can't say them right there, Rick. I think Ranger Suarez's body will break down pretty quickly, and I don't think his body will hold up long-term for that contract he signed in Boston. Giants don't have enough talent yet to make a run. Cowboys can get a ton of talent and have ownership issues. Commies have a talent and ownership problem, yeah. The Eagles are not falling behind anybody else in our division. Not even really close. It was a crazy comment from Vatsock or whoever it was, and you can't convince me otherwise that it wasn't crazy. If you see Makuba for his range to complement Epps, it could work, but I can't see it working to the point they're a top 10 duo, okay? I'm just, Epps' most success last year was next to Blankenship, not next to Makuba, making me think that they play the same style. So, yeah, look, I think the thing is you also have to understand with Q and Coop, you can have a top 12 duo at safety or whatever. Like, when you have a top 1% cornerback room, you can have, slightly lesser in another position, right? That's on your secondary coach. That's on your safeties coach. That's on your defensive coordinator to make it work, right? I'm not moving on from Makuba. I'm not giving up on Makuba just yet. The Eagles trade AJ, it will be day one of the draft. It will not. I would be shocked. I think they're trying their best to hold out. Hold out. Doesn't like to click links, but he asks other people to click his links. I never ask anybody in a DM to click a link. I never. Okay, Mitchie Poo? No, I will not click your links in your that you DM me. Will not. Way too many people have gotten hacked from clicking links in DMs. Will not do it. I will post on Twitter, but I will not post it in a DM. You're not getting hacked because of me. And I'm not getting hacked because of you. There are decent O-line in this year's draft. Decent. And I was listening to something last week from Brian Baldinger. He says the offensive line draft this year has a lot of good players, but does not have any great players in it. Tight end class is shallow. There's a lot of reports as we inch closer to April, whenever the draft is. Third week in April. As we inch closer, more and more reports are that this is a weak draft class. Stowers might be the tight end we draft in round 2. I keep seeing the guy from Ohio State. He keeps popping. Is it Cal or Kane or Clout? Whatever his name is. I forget his name. But I've mocked him myself. Maybe. I don't know. Haven't done enough mock drafts. Adoree played solid. People shit on Adoree Jackson from this past year all the time, and I think it's insanity to be brutally honest with you. I think he's done plenty good enough. Shocked Pierce got overpaid. My God. The dude Pierce got overpaid. I'm trying to look at I got way too many notes here. I got to find a better way to organize my notes on days like today. There are a bunch of wide receivers got overpaid. You overpaid Pierce in Indy and traded away Pittman. I'd argue that Michael Pittman is the better wide receiver than Alec Pierce. Okay? Even Jahan Dotson got $17 million over 2 years. The dude had 18 catches last year and got $17 million. He got $1 million almost per catch he made last year. Think about that. Wide receivers got overpaid. Tua to Atlanta is hilarious. Him and Penix, two lefties, dueling it out, throwing to Dotson. It's hilarious. Phil doesn't have to click shit. Should we bring back CJ? I mean, I'm sure the idea has been bounced around the NovaCare complex. Well, no, it's Howie's office in the NovaCare or at the link. I don't know. It's been bounced around the GM office. I am sure about that. Atlanta can't get the quarterback right. Didn't they just bring back Matt Ryan as the GM? Something like that, yeah. Atlanta's another terrible franchise, which is crazy because their owner is a generous owner. He donates a lot of money. He does a lot of good for the community. I just read something the other day. Donated $50 million to some group of people. It's like, they just are just terribly, terribly, terribly run. It's a shame. It really is. Not really. Free agency seems weak this year. So the draft is a weak class. The free agent class is weak. That's why so much money is being given out to bad players. I think we're going to look back as this a lot more mistakes than normal in free agency this year. And we're going to look back glad Howie didn't do this, right? This should be a lot of teams' pivot seasons, not overpay seasons. Adoree is very close to falling off the shelf. If this team prioritizes run support, this guy will not be top of the list. I get it. He might be. He's getting older. He got banged up a lot last year. But on the field last year, he did not shit the bed as much as people think he did. As the third cornerback on a team, he did fine. Its top is way better than the middle in terms of talent. Duck, doesn't it seem like a drag, though? Usually day one is legal tampering and such. Yesterday was nuts. You're talking over $1.5 billion in contracts were given out yesterday, just so you know. AJ will stay in Philly. They would have unloaded him yesterday. They would have only unloaded him yesterday if they were blown out of the water by an offer. Howie Roseman is doing his best to hold off on trading him until after June 1st. Because the cap hit splits in half, basically, if you wait post-June 1st. There's no way to post-date a trade like there is a cut. CJ can only play in systems allowing for ab-living and having other DBs able to know his tendencies. And Reed was, I guess going back to used to would be the place for him because Reed knows his tendencies, right? Big mistake incoming if Howie sticks to cornerback room. He can't afford to be cheap with cornerback two. Well, he has no choice with being cheap because you got too many other big ticket items and mediocre with Adoree. Mediocre Adoree did fine last year. Cheap meaning not having a quality talent. Coop only, I don't know what that emoji is. Bright spots? I mean, how many teams have 3 bright spots at cornerback? The Eagles don't have 2 bright spots at cornerback, Jonathan. They have 2 of the elite top cornerbacks in football. 2 all-pro cornerbacks in football. Name me another team that has 2 all-pros and a Pro Bowl at cornerback. You're not going to find one, okay? It's not about being cheap. It's about you have 2 elite players. You can't have 3 elite players at that position. Salary caps are a real thing, despite popular opinion. In terms of money, it was nuts because the talent is at the top is so much better than the middle. Day 2 and 3, dollar-wise, will come back to normal. That is true. Yeah, Ranger Suarez's body is going to break down for sure. Chasson says the Eagles are close to a new contract with Jalen Carter. I've heard they're this close to extending Carter, and I've heard they're this close to trading Carter. I'll believe whatever I see when it happens. It's pronounced Runghell, not Ranger. Runghell, is it? Steelers got Rico Dowdle, and they lost Kenny G. Our boy K1's boy Kenny G got a $14 million contract to go to the Buccaneers. So the Bucs were active yesterday. Lost Evans, retained Dotton, brought in Kenny G. Go Kenny G. $10 million guaranteed, $14 million over 2 years. You love to see it. Who's a sleepy backup? What? Who's sleepy? Who's sleepy? Where's Kenny G? Signed with the Buccaneers. Here is something to think about. With all the talent coming off the board on day 1, free agency means he really wants to stay. Who? Dallas Goedert, maybe. Kenny G to the Bucs. I knew you'd be in the chat at some point. Goddard hasn't signed with anyone day 1. Means he really was working with Howie. So from my understanding, and I'm no cap expert, but from my understanding, if they get an extension done with Dallas Goedert before tomorrow's official date or time, 4 p.m. or 3 p.m., whatever, they can they can fix that cap number, $20 million, right? But if they extend him after 4 p.m. tomorrow, they eat the $20 million dead cap hit and then take on a cap hit more of the next contract because his contract officially voids at 4 p.m. tomorrow, meaning that cap hit hits. So I don't know if I'm understanding that 100% accurately, but that's what I've read, and that's the way I interpret what I've read. If they get Dallas Goedert done today or early tomorrow, that's the best. Lamade, Zacchaeus got paid yesterday. Yes, he did. The Giants and Cowboys beat them last season. It's a division. You lose in your division sometimes. The Cowboys might sweep the Eagles next season. Stop trolling in the chat. Falcons owner owns Home Depot. Yes, that is his big ticket item right there. Howie going to draft Delp from Georgia. He's going to draft the tight end. Should have done it last year, but going to do it this year. Falcons owner donates money to HBCU school he did not deserve, 28-3. Yeah, that's right. HBCU, he donated like $50 million to them. I don't know why, but I read that. I was like, that's pretty cool. God bless everyone. Relax. Yes, James, what's up? Like, subscribe, share if you have not yet. Yes. Relax. Day one in the books. That's it. That's all it is. It's just day one. Relax. Which ones? I've literally got 2.5 pages, and I think if I wrote everyone down, it would be like 6 pages. Deserves got nothing to do with it, Marshawn, with Kenny G, yeah. It's a weak draft class because less and less kids are playing football. The shortage of talent is going to continue unless the NFL goes global. That's an interesting comment. That's a deeper comment that I'm ready to get into on a busy day like today. Bring this up on a slow day. But me and Mark Moscatelli, Mark with a C, had this conversation like 2 or 3 years ago on this morning show when it was in its infancy stages. Actually, maybe like 4 years ago. With the growth of flag football, with parents not wanting their kids to take hits and get concussions, money involved in other sports. Less and less kids are playing flag or real football at a young age. It's for sure. I think there's a real topic to discuss, but I'm like 7 minutes behind on comments right now. But I agree with this comment. I don't know if the NFL going global is a thing. I think it's more they got to do better job protecting their players and care more about CTE, et cetera, et cetera. I think that's more to it. Kenny G is going to be the heart and soul of that running back room. Of course he is. He is everywhere he goes. Eagles need to extend Hurts or they can get Kyler Murray on a cheap stop. Wow, that's a troll comment. Eagles don't want – nobody wants it. Well, people do want him, but they're going to realize how much of a loser he is. These players are like gold this season. Day 2 and maybe day 3 will not level costs. What? Always call Hurts sleepy. Oh, Hurts is sleepy. Okay, gotcha. See, like to Politico meme that like they mean anything. Yeah. Who Rashid? He stayed. Rashid Shaheed did stay. I thought I wrote his name down. Did I write his name down? Oh, there it is on page 3. 3 years, $51 million, $35 guaranteed to stay in Seattle. I thought he'd get paid more. Based on what Alec Pierce got paid, Mike Evans, Wan'Dale Robinson got $70 million, up to 78, but Shaheed got 51. I thought Shaheed would get so much more money than he got on the free agent market. But credit to Seattle for locking him up and keeping him. Good for him. Top of the corner market has crossed $30 million. I don't see how I would give 2 guys that money. By the time next year rolls around, it's going to be more like $35 million. To be brutally, I said yesterday, or I said on some show, I don't even remember when or where, that I can see now with the market on cornerback that Q and Coop combined, not their guarantees, but the general dollar amount is going to come close to $250, $270 million when they get their extensions next year. Coop or Q is going to get 140. Coop might get 120 or 130 and 120, something like that. That's what the deals are going to be for Q and Coop. The question is, will they take any bit of a discount? Probably not, but any bit of a discount to stay together and stay in Philly. Maybe Howie ups the guaranteed and lowers the overall value. I don't know. But it would be the biggest mistake in Eagles history to let either of those 2 guys walk. As a coach, I know a lot of teams have changed to flag only. A lot of cities have changed to flag. A lot of them. I don't know, in Kennett, where I had the pizza shop, I think you didn't start tackling till like you were like 11 or 12 years old now, I think is what it is. You still see plenty of teams or plenty of social media posts of videos of coaches drilling hard hits into kids in other cities. And that's why less kids are playing. It's a problem. No doubt about it. Do you think one or more of these day 2 comp picks goes to an offensive tackle? So the comp picks we get for these lost picks, we don't get them until next year. The comp picks we're getting this year, we already knew about from the loss of Milton Williams and Josh Sweat, et cetera, last year. We are going to draft offensive tackles this year. Will they draft one on day 1 like I want them to? I don't know. It depends on how the next week plays out in free agency. If they have to draft, if Sadiq, I don't think the Eagles will draft Sadiq. I don't think he'll follow them. But if it comes down to it, they might need to get him. They might need to draft an edge in round 1. But I guarantee 2 of the first 4 picks in the draft will be offensive linemen. 1 tackle, 1 guard. No doubt about it. It came out yesterday. Landon Dickerson went to the same place Cam Jurgens did in Colombia to get stem cell treatment on his back and knees. They got a big worry with Landon Dickerson. They got a big question mark with Lane Johnson. Still, to my knowledge, or to my opinion, is that the number 1 reason we did not make it back to Super Bowl last year, that all the problems last year we had, number 1 problem was not bad draft, not bad free agency. It was that the offensive line starters, that elite offensive line, fell apart because of injuries, without a shadow of a doubt. The guy to replace Reed is not on the team now. He won't be Michael Carter or Epps. Howie has to be thinking by draft if he has the best GM, if he's the best GM in the NFL. But again, in Howie I trust. If Howie sits with Vic and says Carter and Epps are good enough starters, draft me a guy like X, Y, or Z as a backup plan, I trust him. Howie's earned the right to be trusted. Play the Kennett Titans in my league. Oh, do you? Do you? My buddy Nick runs the Kennett Titans, the whole entire organization. At least he did. I don't know if his son's playing anymore, but my guess is he does still run it, Nick. We have a compensatory 3rd and 4th this year for Milton Williams and Josh Sweat. Yes, absolutely. It's 98th, I think, is the 3rd round pick. Yeah. Look, they're gonna draft offensive line. Whether it's the comp picks or the picks we already had. K1. There's going to be a tackle taken in rounds 1 or 2, and there's going to be a guard taken in round 3 or 4. Most likely, in my opinion. That's how I see it playing out. Next week or 2 weeks from now, when free agency calms down, we will start running some mock drafts on the show regularly, and we'll figure it out. But yes, no doubt in my mind that lineman is a big, big target for Howie in the draft. I grew up in the caveman days, 90s. They didn't have flag football. We had flag football in gym class at Holy Cross, but that's about it. We still hit too hard. I broke my toe on that recess yard. But yeah, it's different now. It's different. Number 1 issue was coaching. Number 1 issue was the offensive line. I think number 2 was Kevin Patullo. I think maybe Kevin Patullo does a better job if he has an offensive line. You can't compare Kevin Patullo to Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore had a healthy offensive line. Kevin Patullo had an injured offensive line. Yes, we have 3, 4, 5, 6. We thought we weren't getting the 6th rounder. We thought that the Ojulari signing was going to cancel out. I forget who the 6th round pick came from or for which loss, but yeah, it's good. Very deep draft for offensive tackles. So again, I'm going to say there's a lot of good. I trust a few key people that evaluate offensive line, play in the NFL and in the draft. Brian Baldinger being one of them, and he put out a video where he was on a show and talked about it, that he thinks there's no great linemen this year. There's a lot of good ones, but no great ones. You might be able to get a guy that can play in place of Lane Johnson, but you're not going to get anything close to Lane Johnson. Maybe you can get a Tyler Steen level guy, like success-wise. Maybe you get a Jordan Mailata success-wise, but you're not going to get a Lane Johnson. That's just what I read. It was Rodgers that got us the 6th round pick? Gotcha. Whoever it was. That was a big mistake from Howie from last year, letting Rodgers go. It was. We'd be in a different spot right now if we had kept Isaiah Rodgers. Guys, I missed the top of the hour, so it's now 9:05 in the morning. There's still a lot of people watching. There's a lot of people that haven't hit the buttons. Please, if you're watching Train the Game live now or on replay, hit the buttons on your screen wherever they are. Like, share, subscribe, follow on Twitter. A lot of people tuned in on Twitter today. If you're on YouTube and it's live right now, vote on the poll question. Which Eagle player lost? Should the Eagles have matched the contract of? Jaelan Phillips, 12% of you have voted him. Nakobe Dean, 29%. Reed Blankenship voted 21%. And none of those contracts should have been matched, has been voted 38% of the time. Yeah, I would have rather kept Isaiah Rodgers than a 6th-round pick. I think Howie Roseman misread the room in the draft last year on the offensive line. I've agreed with you on that, and I've said that before you 100 times. He misread the price on Isaiah Rodgers as well. He did. 100%. What was it, like a 2-year, like $12 million deal he signed with the Vikings? And he had a lot of big plays. He also had some down games, but yes. Get them thumbs up, boys. That's right. Hit those buttons. Please. I agree. I would have preferred to keep Rodgers in the comp pick. Yes. Hindsight's 2020. Drayton, what's up? How you doing today? Welcome to the show. Like, subscribe, share if you have not already. Yesterday was sad, but I think today is going to get better. It was sad. See, the thing is, I think people are struggling to disconnect their favorite players from what's best for the team going forward, right? Nakobe Dean, one of my favorite players on the Eagles. Reed Blankenship, a locker room leader, and everybody loves the exciting whites. Jaelan Phillips, that personality in a short period of time resonated with the fan base so quickly. But you couldn't give out those contracts, right? You got to separate that. You got to trust Howie Roseman, right? You've got to understand the big picture here. And you're right. It was a sad day. We lost fan favorites. But we didn't lose any player that's going to make or break the success or failure of this team based off of the contracts that they were given. Phil, pick one. It's over Eagles fans or this afternoon. We are so back. What? No. So drop passes, blown calls, incomplete passes, blown coverages weren't the reason. All those things were reasons. I'm saying the offensive line was the number one reason in my opinion. Is my opinion not your opinions matter. I let you put your opinions on there. Can't I say my opinions? A.J. Brown's incomplete drop passes, incomplete passes, all that. Well, so many issues. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm always very generous with you. You are. Now it's just exciting white. Yeah. I saw somebody. Is there a wine or a beer that's got exciting whites on it? Somebody posted a picture. They went into a store that had a bottle of something. Maybe it was wine. Bottle of wine that said exciting whites, and they put a black marker and crossed the S out. It's just the exciting white. Is there a white safety out there that we can sign? It's smart to sit out and let markets settle. If you be desperate like the Bills, no one wants to. Yeah, being desperate is the biggest mistake on day one in free agency. Being desperate and overpaying is so bad. Is there should we bring back Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and make it like a black and white cookie? Or I'm trying to come up with a good name of the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. No, Q and Coop should start it. Q doesn't seem like a podcast type guy though. Phil, is it over or this afternoon will you be saying we are so back? I've never said it was over. And even if they do something today, I'm not going to say we're back. I'm going to tell people, see, I told you to relax. That's all. I was a wedge buster when I played football, and I loved it. Sounds like you got a lot of concussions from it probably, too. It's a Cooper and a Brie Bella left on the Eagles since we lost Blankenship. It's Cooper and Brie Bella could be signed to play cornerback, right? Yeah, no. I don't even know if they're still together or not. It was just a fling. We know that he's a free agent. We've already discussed it earlier in the show, whether you'd bring him back or not. I have no problem bringing Chauncey back. I will say Reed's most success and Chauncey's most success came when the two of them were together. But I can't stand, but I love Chauncey Gardner-Johnson at the same time. I think it's hilarious how many times Chauncey Gardner-Johnson has left the team and trash-talked them, but then is loved in the next day. Or he's trash-talked Philly twice. He's already come back once, and we want him back again. I'm cool with it. He brings a certain swagger to the defense. I think it is a major question mark why he's played on so many teams. He played for, 3 teams last year, I think it was? Plus every year he's on a new team. I get that. But there's no doubt in the success we have. when he's on our team. It was strictly a money reason we let go of him last year, right? Strictly money related. So now we get him cheap enough. Why not? Just look at the cook. Look to the cookie. Yeah, first time throwing up in 18 years or whatever it was. The black and white cookie episode. The black and white cookie was used in multiple episodes, but the one main episode at the bakery. Classic Seinfeld. Some cities is hard to get players to come. We in Buffalo need to overpay. I mean, why? Don't you have the best quarterback in the NFL? Shouldn't that make it easy for you? Nope, it doesn't. Because Buffalo is not that great a place to play. Plain and simple. It is what it is. Gail, what? Y'all love your mids. Let them go. Travis Kelce, 1-year deal, retirement tour. Yeah, look. Back on a 1-year, $12 million deal. 36 years old. I don't think it's about the money, Adam. Not at all. I think it's strictly he doesn't want to go out. I don't think he wants to go out the way he went out last year. I think he wants to, make one more push. And you know what? Whatever. He's earned the right to make that decision. I want to play one more year. All right. Then we'll let you play one more year. He's probably the best tight end to ever play the game. He's earned that right. It's not about money, obviously. Not even close. So, yeah, he's earned that right. Buffalo, I don't know. I don't know. Come to Buffalo and see. It's more like a town. K1, Buffalo is like Westchester is to Philadelphia. It's it. Throwing shade at the people just blaming the coaching. I know. And I know it's so much more than just the coaching. I still say it's more line than coaching. A.J. Brown, how much I still want to keep him. A.J. Brown was a huge issue this past year. A big part of some of the losses this year. There's a lot of blame to go around everywhere last year. Right? There was. But I still think the core of it started to fracture with the offensive line issues. It's the hit that you don't see that causes concussions. The wedge buster was the hitter, not the hittee. Most of the time, that's probably accurate, yeah. That's true. That was a game the Flyers absolutely needed yesterday. Flyers lost yesterday. The Sixers lost yesterday. Who cares? The Phillies lost yesterday. Who cares? Team USA won, though. I didn't watch it. I kind of crashed early yesterday. Buffalo is Niagara Falls gift. Is it close enough? I've never been to Niagara Falls or Buffalo. The only place in upstate New York I've been to is Rochester. How many Super Bowl winning coaches have 2 historic level collapses? How many active coaches in the NFL have 2 Super Bowl championships or 2 Super Bowl appearances? All right. Look, historic level collapses. I want to say this. I think you're going a little over the top on that. A historic collapse is going from the Super Bowl to going to like the top 5 in the NFL draft. A historic collapse isn't winning the Super Bowl and getting a team chock full of injuries to win their division. That's not a historic collapse. Last year was not a historic collapse. It was a disappointment. But if anything, I'll argue that Nick Sirianni getting this team to win the Super Bowl with all the drama, with all the injuries, I'll argue that Nick Sirianni should have deserved Coach of the Year consideration last year. There's a bold take. Bold take that I'm writing down. There. That's what I'll say to that there, elephant in the room. Report says the Eagles have interest in Steelers linebacker Patrick Queen. Dallas has interest too. If that's true, not much faith in Campbell. If they have interest in Patrick Queen, then why didn't you just keep Nakobe Dean? That would be my answer to that. Jonathan, I don't believe that report until it happens. Sirianni does deserve a little bit of the blame, for sure. Everybody deserves blame, but epic collapse, no. Niagara Falls and Buffalo on the U.S. is the gift shop to Canada side. That might be true as well. Where's Marshawn to answer that one? Buffalo, New York is like Philly and the surrounding area. Nah. Is Goddard good as gone, or is there a chance? I still think there's a chance he comes back, Adam. I do. I do think there's a chance. I don't know what the chances are, but I still think there is a chance, for sure. Never been the same since Ripley, believe it or not, museum left. Never been there. Always wanted to. They need to work out a conversation with the offense. Let AJ study, and he might get better. Oh, we've discussed the AJ Brown situation too much on the show over the last month or so. AJ Brown is a weird character, man. An elite talent with a classic, massive wide receiver ego. One that you want to let go because of the drama, but you don't want to let go because the talent is there. You got to hope that A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, and Sean Mannion get on the same page. Because what you get for A.J. Brown, the trade, plus what it costs you in the cap hit, is not going to be good in the short term. Great craft beer in Rochester. I don't remember. I was like 21. It was in college. My girlfriend at the time's grandmom and grandfather lived up there. We went, took a weekend trip up there. It sucked. It was snowing, like 6 inches of snow, and nobody cares one bit. Driving on the roads that aren't plowed like it's no big deal. The plane to come home had to be defrosted for like 3 hours. It was like the most miserable trip in the world. And my girlfriend sucked ass at the time. Well, turns out. That's pretty bold. Hoped you used permanent marker. I did. Ink. Buffalo's really good gangster rap music. Have you ever heard Benny the Butcher and Conway? I know who Conway Twitty is. Josh Allen had his collapse last year. He had his chance with Jackson, Burrow, and Mahomes weren't in there. So true. I totally forgot about that, but you are 1,000% accurate on that. Buffalo's like half the population of Philly alone. Yeah. I would choose Gronk over Kelsey any day of the week. I knew somebody was going to say that. I thought somebody would say Tony Gonzalez. I think Kelsey probably's got slight hair over Gronk. But, man, it's like 1A, 1B, in my opinion, for sure. I think Gronk retired too early. I think he could have gone another year or two. If AJ didn't purposely drop passes, pull up lame on routes, the Eagles would have won 3 more games. Absolutely agree with you on that, Rick. And I hate the fact that he Roger Dorned the Eagles. He tanked a play. Well, not a play, a bunch of plays. Still doesn't mean I'm just giving them away just to get rid of them. I'm going to sit down and try to figure out how to keep them and keep them happy. Our stadium 5 times better than y'all Busta. Stadium's like state of the art, and it's like 20 years old. Buffalo's Omaha with worse weather. That's a good one. So you're saying there's a chance. There's always a chance. There's a chance of anything happening today. I used to pop into Canada to drink. You could drink at 19. Can you? I didn't know that. No doubt in my mind that Brady made the Raiders sign Nakobe Dean. He's a brilliant football mind. I don't know if you guys are on Twitter, but Raiders Frank is a follower of mine on Twitter. Weird dude. Like he's like so passionate about the Raiders, the Flyers, and he bashes the Eagles and he bashes the Phillies nonstop. He's very honest and he speaks his opinion. He loves the Nakobe Dean signing. And when I tweeted out about the signing, he responded this exact same thing, that it's all Brady. You're seeing a shift in the Raiders culture because of Brady finally. Ladies and gentlemen, Conway Twitty. Yeah. But I only know Conway Twitty from one thing, The Family Guy. Otherwise, I wouldn't know who he is. Super Bowl MVP, Sam Darnold, yes. No, it was the other dude, Kenneth Walker. My girlfriend sucked ass. My favorite Conway Twitty song. Yeah, she turned out to be quite the bitch. I could do a show on just that. When AJ gets moved, you better pop on, Phil. If he gets moved, I will definitely 100% pop on if he gets moved. Yeah, Brady football IQ is way better than his normal IQ. Yeah. He pulled for who, for what? He did. He did pull a Ricky Walters. Not once, not twice, like 6 or 7 times. And I'm still, I can't believe I'm sitting here saying that I'm not 100% on moving him, even though he did a for who, for what? Celebrity boxing match, Kelsey versus Gronk. Who you got? Gronk, without a shadow of a doubt. For me, for some reason, I feel like Kelsey wouldn't want to take a punch and mess up that pretty face of his. Now, if you're talking Gronk and Jason, I think Jason would put up a better fight. I still would take Gronk. Eagles tried to keep AJ happy, but he's nuts. Time for him to be gone. I know it's what you want, and I understand it. I just can't pull myself to be 100% behind it. Is that the first time you've heard me make that joke? I'm not sure what that name is there. I don't even know what those letters stand for. But I made that joke like 3 times, 4 times over the last couple of weeks. He Roger Dorned them. He did. I love that scene when the catcher, Jake, goes to Dorn's house and says, if you ever take a play again, and the wife stand there, see anybody? It's like such a great underrated scene in Major League. I love it. I'm not a huge McCain guy, but seeing him hit 2 key threes last night, dude. McCain has played so well in OKC. That game, I didn't watch the game, obviously, but I saw the highlights this morning. Hell of a basketball game between Denver and OKC. Final minute of that game was nuts. I remember Conway tweeting from late night infomercials. I only know it from the cutaways in the Family Guy. I don't know that. Not at all. What was the best Ernest movie? Ernest Goes to Jail, the original, right? I don't think it's AJ. It's mostly Sleepy Jalen. It's not. A lot of teammates don't like him. That is so massively untrue that they don't like him. That's so untrue. It was a real MF moment. Yeah, it was. Probably. McCain, look, we could really use Jarrett McCain on the Sixers right now. We really, really could. Gronk's got the reach on Jason, but Jason can take a punch. Yeah, Gronk looks like a guy that's been in a few barroom brawls. 24 likes, not bad, but still, there's still a lot of people watching that haven't hit the like button. Guys, we're coming to the final 5-10 minutes of the show, maybe longer. If you guys want me to go longer, I'll go longer. Hit the like button, share button, subscribe button. We lost a subscriber. I put out so much content yesterday, and we lost a subscriber today, so we're back to 1041. Hit that subscribe button. Let's refresh. Yeah, still haven't gained it back yet today. Hit the buttons on your screen. Get me to 30 likes, and maybe I'll stick around a little bit longer. The poll. We're at Jaelan Phillips. People voted 12% on Jaelan Phillips. They wished he stayed. N'Kobe Dean, 28%. Reed Blankenship, 24%, and still none of them is leading the way at 36%. One of the more balanced polls of recent shows. All football players are a little off. AJ is normal in football terms. He's normal in wide receiver terms, mister. Name me a wide receiver that is super elite, super talented, that isn't a diva, not a massive ego. Every wide receiver wants the ball. Give me the ball. Well, that's the tight end from the replacements. Ernest goes to Buffalo. He never left. He got lost. Why is Bob Myers not taking over for Daryl Morey yet? 2 home games ago or the last home game? He was sitting courtside, right? Well, not courtside, right behind the bench. First time all year he's been photographed sitting behind the bench of the Sixers. Just saying. There's no way Daryl Morey survives this year, right? Well, survives the end of after this year. I'm shocked that Nick Nurse is even surviving the season. There's no way that Josh Harris keeps Morey and Nurse for another year. There's no way, right? There's got to be a change, right? I don't know. The Ernest Christmas movie was quite hilarious. Are the Ernest movies underrated? I think they're underrated. I really do. No way Kelsey is tougher than Gronk. Besides, these are different times. Defenses were tougher in the Brady-Gronk era. Maybe. I didn't say Kelsey was tougher. I said Kelsey was better than Gronk as a tight end. And I said Jason would put up a better fight and that Jason was tougher than Travis. AJ is so far from normal. Most wide receivers are. How have you not heard of the Grand Old... I've heard of the show. I just never watched it. I know what the Grand Old Opera. I didn't know Conway Twitty before the Family Guy. If you don't chew Big Red or unfollow Phil. Yeah. J.J. Ortega-Whiteside was a well-balanced... Yeah, I mean, he was so well-balanced, he had to have his mommy come to training camp to hold an umbrella for him because the sun was too much for him. Jerry Rice... Yeah, I don't know if he was not much. I don't know. I definitely will say Larry Fitzgerald was not big and egotistic, diva-ish. But I'm sure there was a little bit of ego in him, a little bit of give me the ball. Jerry Rice, definitely, I agree with you. And I knew that you were going to bring up Jerry Rice. I didn't know you were going to throw Larry Fitzgerald in there. That's about it. What's all these pop holes, Vern? Josh Harris will keep them because he doesn't care. I don't even know if he knows what's going on. Does Josh Harris even know that the Sixers suck ass right now? Yeah, they're underrated. Yeah, I think they're not on TV enough to catch, like, So many movies are just played over and over again on TV. Then there's a classic like Ernest, and you never see it. Breaking news, Gardner Minshew. That's not breaking news. That was last night. That's in my notes. Arizona, 1 year, $8 million. They're going to still stick to Jacoby Brissett as the starter from day one, but then they're going to have Minshew as a backup option there. They're probably going to draft somebody too. Wilbur can never beat the big brother in a fight. Jason Kelsey would kick Travis' ass, then make him some blueberry waffles his favorite. I love that. J. Jaw's ma was kind of hot, though. I don't remember what she looks like, to be brutally honest with you. I just remember the umbrella. I don't even remember her face. I would have said Marvin Harrison until he retired and went pseudo-gangster. Yeah, I was hoping someone said Marvin Harrison so I could say, didn't he go to jail or something like that? Irvin Fryer? Didn't he go to jail? Seriously. Hines Ward was a humble guy, but Hines Ward wasn't on the level of the elite, I don't think. Hines Ward was a really good wide receiver, but he wasn't elite. That's just my opinion. Where are we at? Let me check the like count. Let me get an updated like count here. 24 likes still. Still no new subscribers today. Little sad the amount of quality content, well, in my opinion, my egotistical opinion, quality content over the last 24 hours. And we didn't gain any subscribers. We lost one. A little break to my heart right there. Injured Sixers versus injured. Are the Grizzlies injured a lot? 81% of the money being spent on the Sixers roster sat out last night. 81%. That's not good, Mitchie Poo. Not good at all. Hines Ward was just on the edge of being elite. Yeah, he was like, here's the top 10 receivers of all time. He was 11. I'm not saying he was 11. I'm just saying, here's the 10, and he's one spot below. He was like, I can reach the line. I ran out of time. ESPN needs a 30 for 30 on my. There's a lot of 30 for 30s I'd like to see them do. The elite of the elite of the elite with honor, sir. Hines Ward was no Antoine Randall. Yeah, I know, he didn't shoot himself in the leg. That was Antoine Randall, right? You didn't pop in yesterday? I did 11 shorts. I did 3 or 4 afternoon shorts. I did the Eagles check down. I did trending in the AM. I did a lot. TMZ would be better venue at this point for Marvin Harris documentary. Adam, thank you. You didn't have to do that again, but muchas gracias. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. For that, we get at least an extra 5 minutes of overtime today because of Adam, okay? At least an extra 5 minutes of overtime. Well, 4. He gave me 2 twos. So we'll give a guaranteed 4 minutes of overtime on the show today. Thanks to Adam. Y'all can thank Adam. Then I'm going to stick around longer with you crazies. We're up to 25 likes from 24. Oh, I just hit the wrong button there on my phone. Trying to refresh the like button. It was Plaxico Barris that shot himself in the leg. Antoine Randall L. was the wide receiver quarterback combo kind of guy, right? Making me try to remember yesterday is hard enough. Making me remember Pittsburgh Steelers wide receivers from like 10, 15 years ago. Man, my brain is fried. Thank you, Adam. Thank you. Adam is the man. Adam's always the man. Adam is one of the core OGs on this program. One of the core OGs of my content. Gotta think, we are coming up on the 6-year anniversary of the first podcast I ever recorded. Draft Recap 2020. We're like 5-6 days away when I said, let's just goof around and record it on audio-only thing. 6 years ago. And Adam was listening 6 years ago. Adam might be the only one in the core that had listened to the first episode that I ever recorded of anything, before trending in the AM, before trending for 4 quarters, before Fairway to Heaven, before DSM Media, before PSN and EOP. Adam is probably the only one that listened to episode 1. Antonio Brown was a whack job. Antonio Brown still is a whack job. He might be the most psychotic of all wide receivers of all time. I mean, you never know. You never know. Whatever happened to OBJ? I think he was on an NFL roster last year. I know he was injured again, but OBJ was on a roster last year. I'm almost positive he collected a paycheck last year. I'm not sure if he is this year or not, but I think he did. The Sixers aren't horrible. Did you ever see the GIF? I'm sure you have, of like a dumpster on fire rolling down the street? That's the Sixers. Horrible is too kind of a word for the Sixers. They don't even deserve the 7 in front of their name. They're just the Sixers. They're not the 76ers, they're the Sixers. They're the worst of the worst of the worst. With honor, sir. Brutal. I didn't say I didn't remember Hines Ward. I said I didn't remember which one, Antoine Randall or Plaxico Burress, which one shot themselves. That's what I said. What's up, Wes? Good morning to you. Hope you are well today. Been a minute since I seen you in the chat. Hope you are doing good. I know you always got my back, though. Good to see you. Antonio Brown had one concussion that changed his life. He was relatively normal, and the hit. Look, at one point, think about this. At one point, Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell were the greatest 1-2 punch in the NFL at that time. They really were. And they're top of their game. I don't know if there was a duo at that time as great as those two. But they both, their brains. It was the Vontae Burfict syndrome, for sure. Plexico shot himself. A kid I grew up with was one of his lawyers. What? Really? That's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, somebody already told me it was Plexico, but yeah, that's a Wes. That's one of those random 6 degrees of separation or whatever that is. Hit that hit from Burfict made Antonio Brown a whole other character. He literally got bounced into another dimension, basically, right? Like, what's going on in the Marvel comic universe, or Marvel cinematic universe? All the worlds colliding, whatever the hell's going on with Doomsday. I don't know. I lost interest in Marvel over the last few years, but we're going to have something like that, right? If there was a way to swap the Knicks for the Sixers, Philly would be all right. I don't know. I wouldn't want to cheer for those Knickerbockers, those Nova Knicks. Screw them. Greg Newsome is signing with the Giants on a 1-year deal. I'm sure there's a lot of things that have happened in the last hour and 32 minutes. Odell Beckham is a free agent after being reinstated by the NFL for getting suspended for 6 games for PED. Gotcha. So he was in the NFL last year, got suspended, and now he'll get reinstated. You know which wide receiver got suspended? And I don't know. I guess saying he got suspended for PED really brought it back. You know, it was a big what if he didn't get suspended countless times for drugs and everything else. What was that dude's name? Blackman. He was like a top 10 pick for the Jaguars, I think it was, 15 years ago. That dude had so much talent, and he just couldn't keep his head on straight. Exactly. Screw the Nova Knicks forever, and screw Villanova. Yeah, I said it. Screw him. Remember when Doctor Strange got his soul blown out of his body? That's what happened to Antonio. Yeah, I think that's a better comic book reference right there. It happened to Doctor Strange. It happened to the Hulk. It happened to, it's a Hulk in was it Infinity? No, it was an Endgame. Yeah, that's what happened to Antonio Brown. But the thing is, the difference is they got their souls put back in their body. Brown never did. And that's the problem. Brown never got his soul back, or his mind back, or his body back, or anything back. He's definitely one of those big what-ifs in sports. No doubt about it. At all. Anyway, guys, we're at the hour and 34-minute mark. I've given you guys 5 minutes of overtime. Not too shabby. We'll be back tomorrow. It's been burning since 83. What's been burning? The Sixers have been burning. There were some glimpses since 83. There were some glimpses. And we got a jam-packed Fairway to Heaven tonight, 6 p.m. Jason and I, we got a substitute for Steven tonight. Elise will be joining us. We love when Elise joins the show. Breaking down the Players' Championship. What to do with Rory McIlroy and his back. I already bet Rory McIlroy to win. And now he's saying he's not even showing up till Wednesday afternoon because his back's hurting too much. Damn. Can't wait to talk about it tonight. It's interesting. OBJ was never the same since having his shirt off on that. The Giants haven't been the same since that. I don't think the Giants have made the playoffs. Playoffs? Haven't made the playoffs since that. I'll go. If the comments keep rolling in, I would prefer if, the subscriber count would go up. Because eventually I gotta get a job. When we start making more money on this show, then maybe I don't have to get a job. Brown could physically play even in Tampa. His play was good to great. What's left of his brain wouldn't let him be happy and proud. Yeah. AJ News is not coming today. Tell Jason go Michigan. Why don't you tell him yourself? 6 p.m. Fairway to heaven. Right here on this channel. Ohio State with their own issues now. Yeah. Value. I give you guys lots of value. If I give you guys a 20-minute show, that's great value. My time is valuable, okay? My time is valuable to me. It ain't free, my time. They're not so holier than thou, are they? Are there? What? Yeah. Anyway, we got to wrap this up. Fairway to heaven tonight, 6 p.m. Back tomorrow, trending in the a.m. Maybe if any breaking news happens, it's big for the Eagles. We'll go live later today. We'll see. Really? Did I miss some breaking news here or something? I pay so little attention to college sports that I don't know what you guys are talking about with Ohio State. Did something just break or did I miss something before? The Giants are going to be an issue? No, they're not. Not at all. Not in the least bit. I'm waiting to see what I missed on Ohio State, then I'll wrap the show up. But if anything big happens, we'll go live for it. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate Ohio. Well, I don't know if I hate Ohio State. Depending on what happened, maybe I do. I don't know. But anyway, we'll go live tonight, 6 p.m. Back tomorrow. More free agency talk, I am sure. More Phillies talk. Doubtful any Sixers talk. President just stepped down because he's on the. Oh, he stepped down. He's on the list. Gotcha. Got the list. That's all you gotta say. The list is no longer the Jericho list. It's the list. Trey Hendrickson. Man, could you imagine if Howie shocked us all and signed Trey Hendrickson? Yeah, that would be something. President of the University has to step down for pulling a Sharon Moore. Look, I didn't know. I must have missed that. You just made the list. The dumbest thing, is there any wrestling? I don't watch wrestling anymore, like literally nothing. I literally can't tell you last time I turned on a Raw or SmackDown. But is there anything as stupid as the list that got as over as the list? And doesn't that make Chris Jericho how special he is all time? That he gets something stupid like a list as so over with the crowd? It's crazy. Anyway, got to wrap this baby up. You guys got like 8 minutes of overtime today. Let me talk to you. Yeah, no, not as over as the list. That's a catchphrase. The list was like so stupid. Danhausen's been over for ages. I've seen things pop up on like Twitter about him, like clips. Yeah, exactly. The one time being poor helped me is that I'm definitely not on the list. Yeah, I just have morals as well. That's why I'm not on any list either. Let's wrap this up, guys. I'll be back 6 p.m. tonight, Fairway to Heaven. Maybe if any big Eagles breaking news happens. But for now, everybody, thank you very much for another great show. Like, share, subscribe. Guys, find people to subscribe. Let's get 2,000 by kickoff. It's such a challenge, but I'm making that challenge. 2,000 by kickoff. Please, let's get it done. Guys, everybody have a great day. Talk to you guys tonight, 6 p.m. or tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Let's have a good one. Thank you. I appreciate you guys all very, very much. Go Birds. Bubbles up.